What mistakes do writers make writing characters?
I think that the challenge with characters that I have even is creating three-dimensional people that feel real and interesting to the audience and compelling and intriguing and sympathetic and all the things that you want them to be. So it's not so much that you're writing the character because you're like writing the script that has the character in it. Prior to writing the script, you're like figuring out who the character is and what you're going to present about that character to the audience. And I think it's kind of harder than it looks to come up with a character that feels real, that feels like they're really coming from real life somehow and is really interesting, and that audiences will care enough about them and want to follow them because they're going to relate to them on some level. So it's like figuring out what are the key aspects of that character that define them for this movie or this TV series. What are the problems that they're mainly dealing with? What are their internal issues, their main internal issue, and their main external problem? And then trying to write it in such a way that they're not just a tool of the story or the concept, but that they actually feel like, you know, the audience gets drawn into the reality of their life that feels super real somehow, the way that the character is drawn. It's not easy to do that, but that's the best characters. You feel like this is a real flesh and blood human being, and it has to do with, they're not just a stereotype. They have elements, they might start with one aspect that could be a cliche or a stereotype or a trope or a one-dimensional feature, but then they have something else going on that maybe is surprising and very different. I read an article online recently, I think it was on Script Reader Pro's website, where they talked about lengthy character bios aren't really that helpful. It's better to think of your characters in terms of one main quality that most people would define them as, and then one surprising kind of twist that you wouldn't expect. So they used the example of American Beauty, and they talked about like this one character, Wes Bentley's character, is a wise beyond his years character. Like that's his main quality,
Sure.
but he's also a drug dealer, which is like a weird thing that you maybe wouldn't expect. And each of the like main characters in that movie, they defined in that way. The, you know, Mina Subari's character is this like flirty, you know, teen, but in reality she's an insecure virgin. And so like there's these surprising things that just this quality with this opposite or different quality, but finding that first quality even is important because it's easy to just kind of be vague about who these people are. You want to think in terms of, if a stranger, which is what your audience is, were to look at this character in their life, what would be the one-word description they'd have of the type of person that is? Not what they look like, but the type of person that they are. What's the main quality that comes through? And sort of figuring out what that quality is and then finding a way to subvert it to make them more dimensional seems like a good thing. It's something I've been playing with lately.
And even, let's say, Good Will Hunting. I mean, the fact that Matt Damon is supposedly this janitor that can just solve this unbelievable math equation just seems like, oh, that's never going to work. But then when you watch him against all these other characters, he seems like a real guy. Like, I mean, like that person exists to me. You see what I'm saying? Like,
well, but he's also a good example of these two opposing qualities. One quality being that he's this kind of sort of like working class, tough guy, janitor street kid who's got a chip on his shoulder, who happens to be a brilliant genius. Like two things you wouldn't think go together.